And now, back to defend their title from 2018. Please welcome University of Denver's Helix partners to present their project, Crux. Team members include Karina Rush, Derek Porterfield, Cody Bell, Nick Allen, Owen Orr, and Jenny Aragon. Please join me on stage.
Wow. Outdoor industry. We like it. And why not? Why do you love Colorado? What draws you to Denver? We have a booming economy in a city nestled at the doorstep to the Rocky Mountains. And these two things, economic opportunity and natural wonder, make Denver a magnet for outdoor recreation and the companies that support it. And we harness that energy in our development, Crux. Crux quite literally means a nexus, or to us, a hub. And at this hub, we will deliver a synergistic mix of uses where companies can imagine and create and showcase their products in one location. Coupled with incredible recreational amenities, this will be the outdoor industry hub that they demand. We are Helix partners, and on stage with me is a great team. Cody Bell, Jen Aragon, Karina Rush, Derek Porterfield, and Owen Orr. And over the next few minutes, we'll walk you through this development, from our market insight analysis to programming and to project programming and phasing, and finally our financials to show you why Crux is the highest and best use for this site. And with that, I'll turn it over to Owen to guide you through how we arrived at this vision.
Thanks, Nick. Located only 2.5 miles north of downtown Denver, this 40-acre subject site sits at the crossroads of I-25 and I-70. A great piece of real estate with incredible development opportunity. You can get there from I-25 and 58 or via the Paco Street exit from I-70. Certainly not the most intuitive. Despite planned streetscape improvements, accessibility is a real challenge, which greatly influenced our proposed uses. We ran down every road, exploring ways to create new connectivity. But talking with Albus Brooks and city officials, we determined that new public transit connections are impractical. Local professionals such as Chris Cowan, Eric Christopher, Troy McWhinney, Ryan Link, and Tom Hanna helped us understand the feasibility of different uses. Any sort of residential, traditional convenience retail, hospitality, ground-up new Class A office, or self-storage is not feasible because we couldn't justify the rents and due to major accessibility issues. Given the amount of recent industrial development in the submarket, we naturally gravitated toward new logistics space as an obvious answer. However, we determined that we couldn't compete with the value the volume of newly delivered and planned industrial space in the submarket. Nonetheless, we realized the value of the existing buildings on site, acquired at a 40% discount to replacement cost. The only opportunity we saw for new ground-up construction was a showroom-oriented industrial building along the south of the site. This building works because of attractive, smaller spaces and maximized visibility, fully fronting I-25. The site is currently industrial, surrounded by congruent uses, and intended to persist as a flexible employment center in the Global Neighborhood Plan. Our proposal aligns with these goals, adding hundreds of new jobs, and honors the site's heritage, maintaining 70% of the square footage as industrial. But why Crux? How did we come to this conclusion as the highest and best use for the site? We recognized the subject site was underutilized, given its central location and regional connectivity. At the same time, we saw the Outdoor Retailer Expo and VF Corp move to Denver last year, while the Denver Merchandise Mart transitions its operations from Western to outdoor companies. Our outreach told us there was demand for Central Mass, a diverse campus to accommodate the unique needs of the outdoor industry, which well aligned with the strengths of our site. Crux is the right place and the right time to capitalize on this momentum. Crux is driven by key development objectives. By understanding site strengths and weaknesses and reusing existing buildings, we will pursue financial durability and optimize environmental and social impact. The result will be a vibrant campus ecosystem for the outdoor industry, which Jen will describe in more detail.
A 100 years ago, the locomotive industry supported Colorado's economy in much the same way that outdoor recreation supports it today. Outdoor recreation is a huge economic driver for the state. It contributes to over 10% of our GDP and also provides employment for over 500,000 people. We met with Luis Benitez, Director of Outdoor Recreation for the state of Colorado, and he confirmed that there's a major need and demand for a space like this in Denver. In fact, he said that many companies are looking to relocate here, especially after the recent moves of VF and Outdoor Retailer. These companies need access to air, rail, and warehousing, 3 key strengths of our site. Additionally, many of these companies want to co-locate in an amenity-rich environment. We vetted our concept to over 25 outdoor recreation people, and they said that they want to occupy space here. Additionally, we received 5 letters of intent for companies ready to move in. Our site is no longer an industrial island. It is a destination. Building 1 is the core of Crux. It is over a city block in size. We have activated this space with a rock climbing wall and an action sports facility. Other programmers have told us that action sports facilities like this will draw customers from up to 50 miles. On the first floor, we will also have co-working space and showroom. This will provide our tenants with flexible room to grow and showcase their products. Level 2 will provide office in the wings of the building for more established companies. Every outdoor recreation company we spoke to said that they want an office next to their production. Therefore, we strategically programmed Building 6 to complement Building 1. It'll provide warehousing and manufacturing for our tenants so that they can distribute their products right next to their office. The surrounding 5 buildings are like the spokes to our hub. They support the core of Crux. They are activated by an exciting Colorado-themed tap house and restaurant, which help amenitize the additional flex and office space. Lastly, we decided to keep buildings 7 and 9 cold storage. Cold storage is a $19 billion market, which is expected to increase to $100 billion by 2024. This further supported our decision because it guarantees a stable cash flow that is resilient through any market shift. Helix Partners is committed to sustainable business development, which Derek will speak to more.
Thanks, Jen. There's nothing more sustainable than adaptively reusing buildings that are functionally obsolete. We plan to keep all of the 1922 buildings on site. Further, people tend to gravitate towards historic buildings. There are countless iconic destinations here in Denver that are centered around adaptive reuse projects. You may recognize a few. Second, we plan to install over 3,000 solar panels on Building 6 and Building 7. In our discussions with Pivot Energy, we believe we can generate 1.15 megawatts of power, increasing the total solar production from 5% to 20% of the electrical site's needs. Third, we plan to incorporate 100,000 square feet of open space in hardscape plazas. There's two reasons for this. First, it takes care of our stormwater detention needs. Second, we plan to activate this space. One key area is between the Crux main building and the tap house. To give you a little context, it's the size of a football field. It is huge. We plan to activate this space with concerts, competitions, movies, games, and other activities. This is meant to be a destination for Colorado and the Globeville community. We've spoken with several community partners, including environmental learning for kids. They increase the accessibility to outdoor recreational activities for the underserved youth. Further, it is proven to increase high school graduation rates. We believe this is an important and beneficial partnership for our tenants as well as the local community. Now that you know what is going on the site, I will turn it over to Nick to tell you more about how we're going to phase this project.
Thank you, Derek. Given a site as large and complex as this, separating the development into two distinct phases can help mitigate risk while accelerating certain portions of the work. Phase 1 concentrates on the south side of the site and is entirely focused on our lower risk industrial uses. Building 6 and Building 7 will undergo minor tenant improvements as well as surrounding site work. Important to note is the shift in the southernmost entry to the site. This shift facilitates the construction of our one new ground-up showroom industrial building. Phase 2, the north side of the site, represents the bulk of Crux, our outdoor industry hub. And a majority of our effort and our cost goes into that revitalization of those existing buildings, as well as the extensive site, parking, and water quality improvements that are required to make this the dynamic site that we desire. Finally, we will make necessary utility infrastructure improvements and improvements to access to Building 9, our other essential cold storage building. Complete, including the $50 million acquisition basis, this project has a total development cost of $106.8 million, the financing for which Karina will discuss.
As Nick just mentioned, the total project cost is $106.8 million. Of that total, $37.4 million will come from equity and $69.4 million will come from debt. On a 10-year analysis, we expect to see project-level levered returns of a 19.4% IRR and a 3.89 equity multiple. Helix will purchase the property in January 2020 for $50 million. At this time, existing tenants will vacate the space with the exception of cold storage. Because of our current position in the market cycle, maintaining the strong cold storage cash flows is a crucial component to mitigating risk to our investors. Throughout the entire development, Crux maintains a minimum debt service coverage of a 1.0 and an average of a 2.03. The grand opening of Crux occurs in October of 2021, followed by a 20-month lease-up. The project stabilizes in year 4. Although we are underwriting to a 10-year hold, Crux has the potential to be a legacy asset. Upon acquiring the property, Helix will pursue a structured financing solution totaling 65% loan to cost through a senior national bank and a mezzanine lender. The cash flows during the repositioning of our property will lead to a competitive marketplace for non-recourse senior and mezzanine debt. Upon stabilization, this loan will roll into a permanent loan with an alternative fixed-rate portfolio lender at 60% loan to value. And now I'll hand it off to Cody to speak more to the equity stack.
Thank you. Our project will require a total of $37.4 million in equity. We can feasibly raise this equity from 6 to 12 of our valued family office partners, totaling $33.6 million. This allows us, as the GP, to invest $3.7 million on a comparable basis to our LP investors. Our distribution structure will be a 90-10 pro rata split until the return of all the investors' equity. Once that equity is returned, we will then receive an additional 10% promote for the remainder of the distributions. Upon stabilization, this project will realize an 8.3 return on cost. With our distribution model in place, our LP investors will experience a 12.3 cash-on-cash return at stabilization and a total profit of $86.3 million. Us as a GP will experience a 21.6 total profit exclusive of our development fee. So now, in conclusion, Crux is the highest and best use for the Denver shop site. We have shared with you our long-term vision that brings to life a unique place and workplace. We have expressed the overwhelming demand for multi-mixed outdoor industry use at this location. And lastly, we've shown you how our phasing and capital structure generate compelling returns while mitigating risk. Crux is uniquely Colorado and satisfies the goals of both the city as well as the sponsor while generating financial returns and maximizing community impact. Thank you guys very much. We're honored to be here. And happy birthday, Nick!